Looking at the Markets with David Modell.
Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Today I've got a very special guest. He is Mr. Malay Panchal, and Mr. Panchal is a seasoned serial entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience in pharma B2B technology, retail and mail-order pharmacy, pharma branding, and clinical trials. Currently, he is the CEO of Canadian licensed cannabis producer Pure Global Cannabis Inc. And that is trading right now on the Toronto TSX Venture Exchange under the ticker symbol PURE, P-U-R-E. I like that ticker symbol a lot, easy to remember. So, Mr. Panchal, thank you so much for joining me today on Looking at the Markets.
Thank you for having me, David.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you. I'm going to learn a lot today, and I know that my viewers and listeners are going to want to watch this whole video because there's going to be a wealth of information here. And if people want more information about the cannabis revolution and about Pure Global Cannabis Inc., they're going to want to check out portfoliowealthglobal.com/pure, P-U-R-E. That's a corporate overview of the company. Pure's legal team has fully approved it, and we want you to check out that, and it's right in the description below this video. You're going to want to click on that. All right, let's get to some knowledge, some questions that I have about this massive growth industry of cannabis. Now, Mr. Panchal, how much opportunity does the medical cannabis sector possess, and what are some of the major ailments that cannabis products can address?
Great question, David. I mean, a lot of your viewers will have heard that Canada is very close to legalizing cannabis for adult recreational use, which is set to occur October 17th this year, which is a very exciting time for the industry, both in Canada and internationally speaking, being the first G7 country that's going to federally legalize recreational cannabis use for adult. However, the medical aspect is really more of our focus. The reason being is, despite the fact that the recreational market is going to represent almost an 8 to 10-fold increase in the market demand for cannabis products, we see really an international opportunity for the medical products. Medical has started here since 2013. Since then, there's over 300,000 patients that are enrolled in the ACMPR program, which is the Access to Cannabis for Medical Purposes regulations. And this enables patients to get a prescription from their physician and register with the licensed producer, which there's about 30 that are licensed to actually dispense or sell directly to patients, and then they can receive their product through the mail. What's more, in terms of the medical aspect, is globally speaking, there's about 20 countries and a growing list of countries that are looking to import cannabis products because cannabis represents the most viable treatment for a growing number of conditions, and we can talk about that a bit more later. However, that export potential is really the bigger picture that we're looking at. Canada is the only country that can currently export pharmaceutical grade products. And when you look at Canada with about 35 million people, it's a very small market relative to the entire global landscape. And that's really the tremendous opportunity that we have ahead of us.
I agree. It is a huge opportunity in the medical cannabis field worldwide. So now there's something I want to know about, and I get questions about this all the time. What's the difference between the cannabis oils and extracts versus the dried flower?
Great question. So cannabis traditionally has been used in sort of in joints, or the dried flower is ground up and used in various formats, and usually combusted and inhaled. Also very popular, more so, is vaporization, a process where the flower is placed into some sort of device that will introduce hot air that will literally evaporate the components that want to be inhaled from the cannabis, which is called vaporization. So dried flower, which is smoked or vaped, is the most prevalent form of ingesting cannabis. And the reason why it will continue to be will be because it's a faster onset of action. You inhale it, and within 5 or 10 minutes, you have the full effects of the dose, as opposed to the oils. The oils are actually extractions. So the flower is taken, put into a contraption, and the oil is actually sapped out of it. This oil is then distilled, purified, and then dispensed either in a dropper or sometimes in a soft gel capsule. A lot of people don't want to inhale smoke or vapor. Obviously, there's some downside to that, but when you ingest it, the problem is it's a longer onset of action. So it takes about an hour, sometimes longer, for the body to start digesting it. It needs to be processed, and then you'll have an effect that can last anywhere from 6 to sometimes 8 hours, which sometimes is unwanted. Sometimes that is wanted. So cannabis oil and dried flower both will be very commonly used. But when we fast forward a little bit further, a few years down the road, we believe the finished products that are going to be coming on the retail shelves down the road are going to be more so probably derivatives of the oil, drinks, edibles, transdermal patches, sublingual dosage forms, topical cosmetics, things of that nature, and all these are derived from oil. So the oils give us an opportunity to develop a vast array of different types of dosage forms and products.
Fascinating. I'm fascinated with all aspects of this exciting industry. Now, I hear this term a lot, licensed government company. What is a licensed government company in cannabis, and how critical is this in Canada?
So Canada, unlike the United States, has federally legalized cannabis for medical use. That is that throughout, from coast to coast, patients can get a valid prescription from a doctor and get a prescription for cannabis dispensed to them, maybe dried flower format or oil. Now, it's not quite at the stage where you can go to your local pharmacy and get that product. That is coming down the road as well. But currently, there are these licensed entities that are put through a vigorous process, which sometimes and often takes years. For us, it took 4 years to acquire our license and almost 5,000 pages of documentation that we had to submit. And so again, there's a regulation called the Access to Cannabis for Medical Purposes Regulations, which is called the ACMPR. Previously was called MMPR. And so to be licensed, you need to qualify for security, record keeping, how you're going to manage patient records, how you're going to securitize the facility, how are you going to prevent contamination of your product, just like you would be treating a pharmaceutical product and dispensing this to the human population. And so getting a license is critical to be able to conduct commerce, just like any commercial business and commercial entity. And that's how the government of Canada has really treated this industry, really commercializing it. So being a licensed entity or a licensed producer is critical for one to do business with cannabis legally in Canada.
Absolutely. I would never invest in a company if it were not a fully licensed producer. That is so important to me. And of course, Pure Global Cannabis Inc., which trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under ticker symbol PURE. And the website is pureglobal.com. If people want to check that out, they can click on the link below this video. But your company is fully licensed, fully legal. That is so important to me. I think that's huge. Now, I wanted to ask more about you. Let's get personal, shall we? Tell us about yourself and about the people involved at your company.
Love to. So I'm a pharmacist by profession, and I studied at the University of Toronto, one of the best schools in the world, really, for pharmacy, and really was trained as a physician. We're trained to actually diagnose and treat. Physicians would give us the ailments, and we actually prescribe. So that health profession acumen really stuck through with me. I also come from a family of entrepreneurs and industrialists, and so business has really been in my blood. And then throw into that a real passion for IT. I grew up a champion computer programmer and moved to Silicon Valley in 1999, where I got the dot-com bug, if you will, and came back and started my first startup, built a B2B logistics platform for the farm sector here in Canada. Later went on into community pharmacy, where I deployed several holistic pharmacies, which was a concept that I developed based on doing some feasibility studies on senior populations and the baby boomers, which were looking for much more service, and they wanted a more natural medicine. I would have perhaps stayed in that industry were it not for huge cuts back in 2010 and around then. Went into the pharma sector where I worked with many pharma brand manufacturers to deploy patient adherence solutions, basically having a window into the latest branding technologies and methods used by the biggest marketers in the world, and also I helped with automation with several global clinical trial studies. This all really prepared me for this ultimate business that I would start, this venture in the cannabis sector, where I'm bringing in all that experience and knowledge to roll out a really global, scalable enterprise. The rest of the team that I bring with me include others that are very experienced in their individual sectors. The first person I had to find was a grower, because I was not going to grow the product myself. Found a world-class grower at PhD level with a master's as well in biotechnology. He brings academia and patents from commercial horticulture. Cannabis, you have to remember, was grown in cottage industries, garages, and in basements, and so modern commercial horticulture technology has not really been brought in, and that's one thing that we really want to do. And so I found a world-class grower that's going to help us do that, and we've developed a unique patented patent-pending multiponic vertical farming system, which we're very excited about. Once that's validated for cannabis, it will result in several-fold larger capacity per square foot than what's traditionally used, and so we're very excited about that. Further to that, we have a general manager who's a master in agriculture engineer, Vishwas Sawant. He's run large-scale organizations, thousands of people managed, and brings a wealth of knowledge and experience, and also has an MBA from Ivy School of Business, which is one of the top schools here in Canada. We have a CFO who comes from pharma, public companies, one of the largest accounting firms in Canada, where he was a auditor, and also formerly from Deloitte, where he was a partner. And he brings a vast amount of knowledge and experience for us in navigating the, we call him the mathematicians or the numbers guy. The chairman of Pure Global, actually, Dr. Chandra Panchal, no direct relation. We share the same last name, but he's not something. He's my father, but I do call him uncle, actually, just out of respect in our community. But he's actually got a book on Amazon about yeast technology that he developed for the beer industry. He's been a professor at Western University, one of the most prominent schools in Canada. He also went on and started his first biopharmaceutical company called Procyon, which was studying oncology products. Took that public and sold that. He's now working on another startup called Axelon Pharma, which he's taken globally with a biopolymer skin solution made from bacteria, which is very exciting. And now he's really excited about the cannabis sector as well. Rachel Collick, we're very excited about. She's our VP of Brand Strategy and PR, and Rachel has very deep knowledge of the cannabis sector, has devoted her life to cannabis and the education of cannabis for consumers, and really excited about what she's going to develop for us from both the medical wellness as well as the recreational or adult use standpoint. Also very excited about the advisory board that we bring on with us. Jeff Zickerman is one of the top investment bankers in Canada, raised over $600 million just in the last couple of years himself. Him with Aaron Sauls, who I consider the top cannabis expert in terms of capital markets in the world. Together we have a great team that can help navigate the capital markets and really help hopefully carve out a niche for ourselves. Trina Fraser is one of the most knowledgeable people in the cannabis sector when it comes to regulations, both in Canada and in many parts of the world, and she's also our key advisor. But I could go on and on about my team. I've built a world-class team, and the way I look at it is when you have championship caliber, you can sort of attract the championship players. And I love golf analogies, and I think we have a real great opportunity to be a world-class player in this sector.
Yeah, sounds like an outstanding team. And that's huge for me. When I invest in anything, I'm looking at the team. I'm looking at the experts involved, and you've got plenty of them. So let's get to the capital end of things. When do you plan to raise money again, and for what purpose?
So we've raised about $15 million to date already, and we're well capitalized with over $10 million in cash at the moment. Immediately, we're going to be doing another raise quite soon. We just got out of the gates. We're a brand new public company trading again on the TSX Venture Exchange. I love to use the analogy of the ship has set sail. We've cast into the water. Now we're setting our sails and waiting for the wind to catch, and then really getting into the race. So once we reach a certain market cap level, we'll be doing immediately another raise, about a 15 to 20 million, and we're anticipating that actually quite soon, hopefully within the next 30 days or so. And as we grow and as we add assets and as the company develops, we'll continue to capitalize ourselves. We'd love to raise over 50 million this year if we can. Capitalization is key to sustainability and to give us the opportunity to make strategic acquisitions and of course for expansion. We want to commercialize, we want to develop our footprint in terms of production, and we want to add more key members to the team. And so for this, you need the capital, you need the fuel. And again, the analogies. I feel like we built the rocket ship before we got licensed, and then we needed to find the team, the navigators, and we found that. And then we needed the fuel, and we really found one of the top financing partners we possibly could have in a very large group that's behind us now. And now it's time to catapult into the stratosphere and join the ranks of our peers.
Yeah. Plenty of capital, a great team, sounds like a winning formula. I like it. Now, what are the company's plans to go to market, and when are revenues expected to begin?
Very good question, David. So the company currently is in the process of completing phase one, and that means the ability to buy bulk product from various sources. What's unique about our business model is we are actually able to get our license and potentially our sales license, which we're anticipating imminently within the next 60 days or so, without actually cultivating our own product yet. In all our business modeling, we realize that there'll be over 100 producers once we got out, and there's about 120 right now. A lot of them will have a lot of product that they're going to need to move. A perishable product that cannabis is, and wholesale pricing is going to continue to come down. So we actually source from multiple sources. We repackage and then dispense that to our patients. And we're going to be ready to, touch wood, start generating revenue again within 60 to 90 days to get us through phase one. Phase two will include the addition of our own cultivation footprint. And then we have a phase 3 and 4, which adds more cultivation and as well as commercialization in terms of the processed products. So revenue generation by the end of this year, and then next year we'll be ramping up considerably with more products coming online, and then with the exports markets kicking in, moving product to Europe and hopefully other parts of the world.
Yeah, I know this is going to be huge. Now, my audience is very sophisticated. They love the cannabis industry. They're getting into it. They want to know how to get involved. They know that it's international. It's a global phenomenon, a revolution, if you will. What are Pure Global's plans for international development?
Well, it says it in our name, Pure Global Cannabis, and again, as I mentioned earlier in our conversation, we really see an international opportunity here. And when we're talking international, then we're really talking about medical products. You can only export medical products, and that have to be manufactured in a particular standard, which is called GMP, which is Good Manufacturing Practices. It's very high level of controls that you have to produce GMP grade products that have to meet European standards, and so you have to go the extra miles, spend the extra dollars, if you will, and have the right people that can install a facility that meet those requirements. And once you do, the world opens up to you in terms of products that you can distribute around the world. And our footprint is looking to grow beyond, of course, the Canadian borders. We're looking at South America right now, where you have 650 plus million people, and more countries. Uruguay, of course, and Colombia have come online with medical regulations. Australia, of course, it has their medical regulations that have come online, a market that we're looking at. The biggest market right now, of course, is Europe. Where many countries have cannabis legalized for medical use. Germany is the prime candidate there with over 80 million people. They have laws there that you can actually purchase cannabis from your pharmacy with prescription. However, they don't produce any in the country, and they are starved, so the shelves are actually empty and rely on importation from countries like Canada and the Netherlands. So a huge opportunity. We see Asia, China, India, and China especially coming online down the road as well, and eventually the United States. We don't have plans for the United States currently because of the federal legislation there. It's too risky for us at this time. However, when things change, we're keeping a very close eye, and we'll choose the right time to come into the U.S. markets as well.
I like the sound of that. It's global, it's a revolution, it's a worldwide phenomenon. The time to get involved is now, not later. So I've been speaking to Malay Panchal, founder and CEO of Pure Global Cannabis Inc. Once again, the ticker symbol for the stock on the TSX Venture Exchange, it's easy to remember. It's Pure, P-U-R-E. And the website is pureglobal.com. Would that be the best way for people to learn more about Pure Global, to go to the website there?
Absolutely, David. We have all our information there about our company, about our team, about our plans. And I just want to mention as well, Pure Global Cannabis is our parent company, which trades publicly. Our first operating asset under that is PureSense Inc. or PureSense.com. If you want to check out the licensed entity that we are going to be entering the medical market with, and Pure Global's first asset, we'll be looking to add other assets over the course of time, announcements that we're very excited about down the road. So stay tuned. And thank you, David, very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And I also want people to check out in the description all the links below this video. Click on, first of all, go to portfoliowealthglobal.com/pure. The company, the legal team has fully approved this report. I want you to download it. It is for serious investors, and my audience is very sophisticated, very serious investors. I know that you guys listening to this, watching this, you love the cannabis revolution, and you'd love to make some money in it. And this report at /pure over at portfoliowealthglobal.com, it is the most comprehensive research online on this company and on the cannabis revolution that I've seen. It covers the company more in depth than even this interview possibly could. And of course, visit pureglobal.com. Get the information, make your own decisions, do your due diligence, do your research, but I know you're going to love this company. We're going to hear a lot about this. So the time to get involved is now. Mr. Panchal, thank you so much for coming on Looking at the Markets. I learned a lot, and you're welcome back anytime, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, David. Glad to be here. Talk to you soon.